Welcome to Mildly Spiraling. I'm your host, Tracy. Happy to have you here. Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of Mildly Spiraling. I'm your host, Tracy. Happy to have you here. Thank you so much for bearing with me while I took a break last week. It was much needed. I have just been so exhausted and I have terrible allergies right now. And I am just trudging through. If anyone has any allergy any methods of making your allergies better, like seasonal allergies, honestly, I'm all ears because I am trying everything and nothing's working. Yeah. Not to this is like a spiral, but I have been getting allergies. I started getting them in college. I would get them so bad. And I don't know what was blooming in Northampton, Massachusetts, but it was always during spring finals. And I would literally be out for the count. I was debilitated and have the most intense brain fog, sneezing, and congestion. And then it was literally every year. And then I would also be trying to write my papers and trying to study for my exams. It wasn't easy. So not that I didn't do decently. I did decently in college, and Smith, really pushes you. And thankfully at Smith, this is actually, I'm plugging it, I guess, but you get to schedule your own exam times kind of. So you don't have to take them on specific days or times. There's I think it's a 1 week or maybe 2 week period. I don't remember now. It's been a while. Where you basically schedule, you have times you can just go in and take it, and you just give your name and the exam that you're taking, and then you can just take it in a room. It's honestly so nice because you can kind of be okay, this is what I want to study for first, and then kind of get it out of the way. And I would usually do the harder ones first and then the easy ones last, but that's just kind of how I worked. But yeah, my allergies have been terrible. I feel this year, they were not this bad in New York City last year, but I think it's because the weather, if you are in New York, you've heard it's literally one day will be warm and then the next day is freezing, and I feel my body just doesn't know what's going on. And I've also just been super stressed, so I'm just not feeling great. And I also am so I don't know if my voice sounds weird right now. I don't know if you can sometimes I feel you can't tell if your voice sounds weird or not, and I can't tell if my voice sounds weird or not. So there's a house sparrow outside the window singing, and I don't know if this is picking it up or not, but it sounds so pretty. Yeah, so this has been a really busy last 2 weeks, and I'm excited to get into it. So let's go. Loving women's sports. Everyone watches women's sports, women's hockey, PWHL in particular, Patrick and I went to the Madison Square Garden game yesterday between the Sirens and the Torrent, and it was just absolutely electric. The crowd was immaculate. There were free Elf Beauty products. The game, on pins and needles the entire time. And the last time the Torrent and the Sirens played, the Torrent won, and it was I feel the Sirens got a little more confidence from their last game, and where they beat the Frost in overtime. And yeah, they beat the Torrent in a shootout. So it literally went from 3 full periods of hockey to 5-minute 3-on-3 to a best of 5 shootout, which are the PWH rules. And it was insane. It was just so cool. I almost cried. I almost cried because it was just so beautiful to be there. So much queer love, and there wasn't even a kiss cam, but we people just made it a kiss cam, and just men wearing like women's jerseys, like people just like supporting one another. Like, I don't know. I've been to, a lot of NHL games too. And it's like the last like Rangers game I went to, the guys behind me were talking about how they voted for Trump. And it's just like, you kind of like don't feel like safe. And like, I don't know if you're interested in hockey, like PWHL games are just like a safe space. And like, I highly recommend it. Yeah. So that's like something I'm loving, and I highly recommend you check out a game. And if you don't have a team near you, they do like takeover tours. I think that the last one is in Detroit this year, or maybe Edmonton actually. I'm not sure. And so check it out. Like they do these takeover tours, and I like highly recommend going to a game. And also, Billie Jean King did the puck drop yesterday, and like I was shooketh. I did not expect that. Like I don't even know what I expected, but I didn't expect that. So that was just really, really, really cool. Yeah, and that's something I'm absolutely loving. Did I say this at the top? I got a lot of feedback that I should start flamenco dancing. I'm loving on the dancing, and okay, hold me to it. I will take a flamenco dancing class for the plot. And I don't know if I can do it right away, but if I don't do it in the next like year and a half ish, hold me to it. And just be like, Tracy, you said you're gonna do a flamenco dancing class. Why haven't you talked about it on the podcast yet? And I will be like, oh yeah, I forgot. I said I was gonna do that. And I'll do it though. I will do it. I think it'd be very fun. So I'll do it. Honestly, I don't know like what's gonna happen, but we'll see. Yeah. So something else I'm loving, and this is just like wild, but like we went to this why I don't know why I said it's wild. It's not really wild, but it's so random. But I'm like very into jazz music. I wrote here, I'm like, jazz music makes me feel alive, question mark. It kind of does. Like, we went to this place called Cafe Ornithology, and I don't know, there was something so like, I wrote in my notes app, like this is just like kind of giving like how I felt when I was there. Like I wrote in my notes app, I was like, life is worth living, and you can find the beauty in everything. I literally wrote life is worth living with living in all capital letters. I was one glass of wine in when I wrote that, so like not even tipsy, but like the jazz music just had me feeling that way. Like, I don't know, there was something about it. And I think it was like being in a room with other people that were also enjoying like this music, and it was just so cool. I don't know, it was just so fun. And it's like, I don't even necessarily know anything about jazz, but like, sometimes you're listening to something and your toe just starts tapping. And I'm actually a full foot mover. I'm a full foot mover, shaker and dancer. I literally, my whole like leg is moving under the table basically. Like, I am so into it. I'm kind of like that at concerts too. Like, I'm not just a toe tapper. I am a foot mover. Like, I'm toe tapping. I'm heel tapping. I'm jiggling my boobs. I don't know. Not really. I was not jiggling my boobs to fucking jazz music, but I was dancing, and it was super fun. I don't know. And it was just so cool. And it does get packed on the weekends, I will say. But like weekdays, I'm sure are like less crowded. But like honestly, go see some jazz, y'all. I don't know. I feel like it's fun. It's like a fun night out kind of thing to do. So I'm sure like a lot of local places, wherever you're tuning in from, have jazz, and it's just something I'm loving right now. And the world is so heavy. And just, we're at war right now, and it's like, just go to a women's hockey game, celebrate women, go to a jazz club, tap your feet, listen to a random like person playing the saxophone. Like, I mean, come on. I It's so hard, I feel like, to relax, honestly. And like this is kind of like just find these little things. Obviously like get out there and talk about the shit that's going on, but like I do think, like I read something. It's like, yeah, supporting women's sports is an act of political resistance, and I totally think that's true. I don't know about jazz, but like just jazz made me feel alive, and I absolutely needed it, and it's something I'm loving right now. Oh my god, actually all of my three loves this week are about community. And I think that's something that I've felt like since I work from home, and I also yeah, like since I work from home and I am getting older, and it's really hard to have like communities like and like or like almost like a natural community. And I realize that you kind of have to go out there sometimes and like find your community, especially as like you're an adult working and like working from home especially. And like right now, like going through infertility, I've definitely found community like with other people like going through IVF or like their infertility journey, but like also finding like communities in other ways. So I joined my local community garden. So these are like New York City run community gardens, and they're all volunteer based. There's hundreds in New York. I believe the open community gardens are going to be June 6th and 7th, but you can always inquire if you have like one near you. If you want to join a volunteer, you definitely can. And so my particular one, it's about a block down for me. It's the closest one. They basically flyered our neighborhood and were looking for new members. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing, that you could like join these gardens. And basically what you do is like you help garden, you help fill like the water jugs and things like that. You help like plant herbs. You also like volunteer at like the community events. So like when there's like the open garden days or like block parties or things like that. So I'm excited to do it. I'm just like kind of getting started. But I'm excited to be like a part of my local community garden. So yeah, just loving community, loving like doing things like a little bit out of the ordinary lately. It's brought me a lot of joy, when there is like so much pain personally and in the world. Yeah. Now, to get into some of my rants, some of my spirals, not as fun, but what would mildly spiraling be without the spirals? It wouldn't be mildly spiraling, it'd be mildly loving. I don't know. I guess I could change the name of the podcast, but I got my spirals, y'all. So seasonal allergies, they got me spiraling hard. I talked about it at the top of the show, and I talked about it because I'm serious. Like I am sneezing up a storm here, and I truly, if you have any relief, like let me know. My doctor like told me, you can take 2 Zyrtec a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. But I like hate doing that, and honestly it doesn't even like help really. But I don't know if it's like it needs to be in my system more because I like had stopped taking it. But I'm doing that and Flonase and like hot tea and like 5 showers a day basically just to get the pollen off of me and be in like the humid like air. But I'm like nothing is helping, and I just need something because I feel like I'm literally will like start sneezing and I can't stop sneezing, or I'm like sneezing like every 5 minutes, and I'm just like trying to like I'm like literally trying to hold in a sneeze right now as I'm talking because like that's how much I'm sneezing and I cannot stop. And it's so annoying. And like, yeah, I also just feel like my voice sounds different too. And I'm also like, I'm not like sick, but like I also feel terrible, and like I've had this like crazy like, when you like just are congested and a brain fog, and that's how I feel. And so like I just feel like I can't like comprehend or like remember anything. And that kind of goes into my next thing, which has been I started my IVF stem, so I am on day 4 right now. Wait, I started on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, no, I started on Thursday, I think. Anyway, I'm doing my stems. It doesn't really matter what day I'm doing. I guess it doesn't really matter what day it is. I was just trying to remember. I think this is day 4 because I did my like day 4 blood work this morning at 8 a.m. That's right. I was at Madison Square Garden until 11 p.m. last night. I think after 11 actually, because it was just, yeah, like obviously the game went into overtime, and then it went into an overtime shootout, and we were there until like 11, and then we went down to get the C train, and it was so packed, like we couldn't even fit on it, and I was like, I'm not doing that right now. And so we waited for the next one, and then it's like they're running every 15 minutes at night, so I don't think we didn't get home until 12:30, and then we like walked the girls. I wasn't in bed until 1:30, and then it was at that point I was like, I have to wake up at 6:30. I'm in bed at 1:30 at this point. Like I'm just going to be in my head and like not be able to sleep because I am so worried I'm not going to wake up for this appointment. So, yeah, like that was, I mean, it was so freaking worth it, but yeah, like I didn't really get sleep. So, anyway, I'm in day 4. I'm on day 4 of my um and I'm trucking along. I'm trudging along. So, I think a huge thing I've talked about was like I wasn't covered by insurance on my previous plan, and I now do have IVF coverage. I have a coverage for 3 retrievals. And then also, it covers like a lot of plans don't cover medication. This one supposedly does cover medication, but I'll get into all that shit in a second. Cause oh boy, was it did it have me spiraling? Anyway, so yeah, so I this is like my period started like on last Saturday, and I was like, shit. They're going to want me to come in on like Monday or Tuesday for my first baseline monitoring, and I was like, my insurance didn't start until Wednesday. So, I was like, they were like, can you come in on Tuesday when I called on Monday? And I was like, can I please come in on Wednesday? Because that'll literally be April 1st, which is when the new insurance starts. And like, it's, thousands of dollars potentially. And they were like, okay, sure. So I did do that. Honestly, when I went in on Wednesday, I had no clue if they were even going to start me or not because well, first of all, like my doctor, or my doctor normally does do like all of the ultrasounds. Like he'll typically do pretty much all of them. And if he's not doing them, it'll be the other doctor that works at that specific office. But like an ultrasound tech walked in, which is fine, but I wasn't expecting it at all. And I was just like, oh, okay. And like I could hear what she was saying, and I was just like, okay, this does not sound good. Like I'm about to fucking cry. It does not sound good in there. Like at this point I kind of know, but then I was like, I feel like he's not going to start me on this because like I already had a lead follicle. But then they started me, so I've been stimming, and then I did blood work today and I'm going to continue doing stims for the next 2 days, and then do blood work ultrasound. So I'm stimming. I am filled with gonal F and menopause right now. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like I just the healthcare system in the America is fucked, and we all know that, but like this is kind of my story with this. Like, I have coverage for fertility, and I have coverage, and they say they cover like the medications and everything. So I find out like on April 1st when I'm scrambling, like that yes, they cover fertility medication. They cover fertility medication from one online pharmacy that they own, and it has to come from there for it to be covered. And so my doctor sent over all my prescriptions to there. They denied 3 of them. 2 of them they denied because they wanted the doctor to send in for a different medication that's basically the same thing, but like with a different name. Okay, so they did that. Then they denied another one, which doesn't really have an alternative because I have DOR, diminished ovarian reserve. They want me to do like a dual trigger shot. So the alternative for the one trigger shot they're not approving is the other trigger shot that they did approve, but I can't really do 2 of the same trigger shot. I'm supposed to do the 2 different trigger shots. So that one shot for my trigger alone that is not covered is $1,500. So that's one shot that's not covered. Then the copay for like all of my medications, like a week's worth, is $600. Fine. That's honestly fine, whatever. The one, like the most important medication, I was on Follistim before, but they wanted me to do Gonal-F. Gonal-F, they were like, oh, we're out of that. We're not going to be able to get it to you on time. Do you want us to transfer it to a local pharmacy? I'm like, yeah, I guess you're going to have to, because like I have to take this medication and you don't have it, and you're the only pharmacy that my insurance will cover. So please transfer it to a local one. So they transferred it to like a local pharmacy in New York. And that was, so for I think 9 days worth of medication, it was $1,600. So I'm not a math expert here, but just for like medications out of pocket, copays, and what they won't cover, what they what didn't have, and so I had to get it. Out of pocket, we're at, almost $4,000. So that's kind of crazy. So I mean, obviously, like, very grateful, and I don't know what my for other things, but I don't know what my co-pays will be for, like, the retrievals and the hospitalization and everything, but yeah, that's where we're at right now. But it's just been crazy because I think I spent 3 days, like 6 hours over the last, like, 3 days on the phone with my doctor's office, with insurance, and with this pharmacy. Mostly with like the insurance and the pharmacy, just trying to figure out, like, because they would deny something and they wouldn't tell me why they were denying it. So then I'd have to be like, why are you denying this? They were like, I don't know. And then they'd have to be like, let me talk to the insurance. And then they say, oh no, we want you to send it in for this other one. So then I have to call the doctor and say, can you send it in for this other one? And it was all this back and forth. It's like, oh, let me make a note on your account. And it's like, oh, I don't see that note on your account. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's so bad. It really is like so frustrating. And it's like, oh yeah. And then, oh my God, this is, so the medication that I got that was $1,600, I can't even tell you like the reason it was $1,600, because normally it's $1,000 per dose. So it would have been $9,000 for 9 doses. They were like, oh, you can use this Trump RX coupon, and then it's $168 per dose. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm using the fucking Trump RX coupon. Thank God I didn't have to like present it or anything at the pharmacy. I guess they just like have it in their system, but they let you know it's through Trump RX. And so I'm like, whatever. You take the wins or you get them, I guess. I'm a little mortified about it, but I had to use that. But I was also like, wait, that's kind of weird, because is that why my insurance denied the Follistim and we're like, you have to use Gonal-F? And then they were like, you have to use this Trump RX coupon for the Gonal-F? Like, it was just so insane. Like, I kind of like, I don't know, it was just crazy. And like, yeah, I'm at like $4,000 just for medications right now, which, yeah, anyway. And I don't know how long I'm going to stim for. I am like, we'll see. But it's all just like, you're also dealing with like the emotional and like physical side of it too, which is like, and I've got these allergies to boot, like so much, whatever. But yeah, like honestly, I will say this round, outside of the insurance and the, like, this crazy ass pharmacy, which I would not recommend to anyone. Like, it's so bad. Um, Outside of that, I feel like I am in a rhythm with just the process of like the early morning appointments and being kind to myself and not super stressing about like the outcome. Like, obviously, I'm would love to like have this be successful, but I do feel like I'm a little bit at ease about it, a little bit more. And I think that's one is because like I'm talking about it a lot and I'm pretty open about it. Two is like I have found like a community, and I have people that in my life that have reached out to me that have gone or going through similar things, or people that maybe were inspired by me to get their levels checked, which truly is, I don't know, like I like cried about it because I just am like, wow, like I sometimes you walk through life and are like, am I giving anything to, like, am I giving, And I hope like using my voice for something, because like I feel so much like shame around infertility, but like talking about it and like being open about it and being like, get your levels checked, um makes me feel like even just like that I'm making a little bit more of a positive impact and like giving my story to the world and being open about my story. I hope um can make people feel like that they're not alone in the journey, because it is like so lonely and isolating, and like I still feel very alone like sometimes in the process. Like no one knows what you're going through, no one knows what anyone's going through, you know what I mean? Like that's like one thing I was thinking about like doing IVF in like New York City. It's like I'll go to my monitoring appointments, and I'll go in and I'll get my blood work and my ultrasound done, and like my ultrasounds, most of the time are not like great. Like it's like, well, you might get, 2 eggs or whatever. Um, and I'm like so in my like head of like, oh, that sucks. And like sad for myself, But and I think that's so valid and allowed, but like then I get on the subway like after an appointment that's kind of made me feel crappy, and it kind of makes you feel like small, but like it puts everything in perspective, I guess is what I mean. Like everyone in the world has things going on, and you don't know what's going on in their lives, and no one on the subway knows that I just came from a monitoring appointment where they told me, like my follicles aren't growing and like I might never be able to have children or whatever. And you just like kind of look around and you're like, yeah, no one knows what's going on in my life, I don't know what's going on in their life. It makes you feel a little bit small, but also kind of like it doesn't matter as much. It puts like a lot in perspective. Whereas like if I just got in a car and was driving, like I would be my whole world. But like in New York, it's like a community, and I'm part of this like moving system, moving community, and like everyone has a lot going on. You're very much not alone. Like everyone has a lot going on. I think it's like a good thing, obviously, but sometimes like I will say I want to just be able to go in my car and cry, blast some Robin and cry. But I will say, living in New York, I've gotten a little bit used to crying in public. That is for sure. I have definitely cried on the subway after a morning appointment. And honestly, no one really gives a shit. It's kind of freeing to be able to like cry in public, and it's like, whatever. I don't know. Because I think if someone said, oh, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't even want to talk to someone about what's wrong. I just want to be like crying. Like, I just want to like have that release of emotions, you know? So I don't know. I think that goes with just like community. I think it is like really important and something that makes me love and something that makes me spiral. And yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, just going back to the hockey game, like I did cry of tears of joy yesterday. I don't know, but I just was like, I love hockey and I love like being a New York Siren supporter, but I'm like, if they didn't win, like it's not the end of the world for me. But I think I cried just because I was like there with 18,000 plus of my closest friends, you know, like yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, I've got a lot going on right now and I'm excited to keep you up to date next week on my journey. And you know, I've got a lot of fun episodes planned. It's just life has been super chaotic right now, so I haven't been able to fully own that process. Like, you know, I said I was gonna have, you know, doing some things, and I promise I am. And I will announce it on Instagram when I've got guests coming on and when I'm doing some fun episodes. Like, I'm gonna do a whole episode on pasta, y'all, so I hope you'll keep tuning in. I've had a lot going on, and it's been kind of like I've just been kind of drained, so I haven't been able to like plan everything out. Not to like make an excuse, but yeah. As always, I so appreciate you tuning in. It means the world to me. And if you're loving the podcast, I'd love if you'd share with a friend. You can also watch like my podcast now on YouTube. I'll have all the links and everywhere you can find me on my Instagram, Mildly Spiraling Pod on Instagram. I'll also plug them at the end of this and in the show notes. You know, I'm on it. So thank you so much. I love you. Have a great week.